So, it is time once again to do some GTX 260 overclocking, but before I can do that, I'm gonna have to change my test bench a little bit. So, setup right now is the 8700K on my Z390 Aorus Master with some random CJR. And you know, CPUs don't really matter for Tropic, so I was just like, let's just use this, because installing Windows 7 on Ryzen is something I do not want to get into right now. But I did some test runs with this, and it scores really badly. I don't know why, but yeah. So I have another Windows 7 ISO that hopefully doesn't score badly, but that ISO is not compatible with this motherboard. I need the Apex for that. So I'm gonna have to swap everything around, put the Apex back in, swap the CPU, get my good RAM, because the Apex doesn't clock CJR at all. And then we're gonna be able to continue with the good old Maximus 9 Apex. Okay, I can't specifically say if this score is actually good. I don't remember the numbers that well. I'm just gonna have to, just keep pushing the clocks, connect the EVC to the card, start overvolting, and then see if I can recreate at least my air score. And then we'll go from there. Alright, so these are the settings that I had for my top score on air. I'm using the same voltages I had for my top score on air. The only difference is that instead of air cooling, well, we're now on water cooling. So yeah, let's see if this just works. I kind of have a feeling it won't, because when I did my air score, I had a really, really low ambient temperature that I do not have anymore. But let's see, maybe this just works. That is a new high score. I'm gonna save that. Did the card just crash? No, it didn't. Oh, why does it ask every time? Do not do that, please. Come on. Yeah, so, That is a new score, new high score. I don't know if that's first place for water. It is definitely faster than my best air score. My best air score was an average of 75.1. This is 75.2. So, I'm gonna be cheeky and make a screenshot of my OBS instead. That way, if this crashes... Well, if it crashes, I still can make the screenshot, but I don't have to worry about accidentally deleting screenshots this way. Then it should be completely, like, it... As far as I know, this is completely, however, legal. Oh, also, I should show the sensor tab for GPU-Z as well. Not much to see there. The temperature chip is gone. But yeah, so that is a new score. I said that is a new score. Save that, please. Save to desktop. Okay, so we have a nice round 1900. Isn't that nice? Yeah, that's, yeah, I just, that's great. It is the exact same clocks as before. Oh, and now the card crashed. Okay, yeah, so it is on the edge, but, it does still run the same as on air cooling. And yeah, so basically the plan is, let me actually check the ranking for water if we're not first place already. That would be a bit weird. Oh, with third place, tied for third place. First place is 1918 points. I think we can manage that. Yeah, like, so we start because it went to save mode. So what's first place for water running? 879 core, 1908 shader, same memory clock. So yeah, that was gonna be my plan anyway. I don't think the memory goes any faster because I did run the card Sub-Zero already, and it did the exact same memory clock. My plan was just core. Like, we upgraded the core cooling, so obviously push the core more. We're already pushing way, like... Actually, it could push more voltage into this. This VRM is very capable, like 4260, and these cores do not produce a lot of heat, so they keep scaling well into like 1.5 volts or something. You shouldn't run that long term. You're not gonna have a graphics card anymore after a while, but since we're just benchmarking, that's perfectly fine. So, I am going to bring down the memory by 10, just because the memory is like, you know, very, very crashy. Do we just... I could just try this. I could just try matching the core immediately. You know what? Let's try that. Let's see if it just works. If... No, it does not. Okay, more voltage? I guess the answer to this is more voltage. Okay, so if I actually set 879, it actually goes to a higher clock. It actually tries to run at... Oh, did it just crash? It actually tries to run at like 880. Or 880 something. You actually need to set 872 to get 879. Did it actually crash? Oh, yeah, that doesn't work. I'm just gonna have to assume it crashed and re-enable the card again. Okay, 879, 1908, 1440 mem. Not gonna push the memory as hard. Let's just see if the core works. I just wanna see if this is going to work, and it does not. Okay. We actually need more voltage. So, how about this? Yeah, so first place says their ambient temperature was 17 degrees. If you check mine, my ambient temperature is quite a bit higher than that right now. So, yeah, I have opened my windows, but, you know, it doesn't really go lower than this. They've been open for quite a while. So, yeah, we have a bit of a disadvantage there. I might just have to, like, run it in the evening. It's... The time down here is completely wrong, by the way. It's actually 3 p.m. If it's actually just running against the wall here, I will actually just, like... I know, just wait until my ambient temperature gets cold. I basically run it at night. Which is a legitimate strategy. Like, 15 degrees ambient is the lowest you can go. I'm way above that. The 17 degrees from first place are pretty close. But, you know, it's technically still within limits. Okay, please don't crash immediately. No, it does crash immediately. Nope. That did not happen. It got pretty far into it though. Like, I have a feeling if I just get the temperature down more, it might just work. So I'm gonna keep this in mind. That this might be an option for if I, well, basically my only option right now is just rerun at 49 core and hope that run-to-run variance is just going to work in my favor. If that doesn't work, which probably it won't, I guess I'm turning the system back on this evening, which still the date from the test bench is completely wrong. It's like 5 hours in the future and also 7 days in the future for some reason. No, actually it isn't. No, it's still stuck in February. Anyway, like, don't trust the date on the test bench. It's weird. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to turn the system back on this evening. Probably gonna just keep the windows open all day because you know, it's not cold enough, so that's actually gonna be an issue. And just hope that my ambient will fall low enough that gives me just a little bit more of a cooling system boost, and that might get me like 1890 shader, 1476 core, maybe a 1476 memory, maybe a bit more core. So yeah, because my ambient temperature is just it's just like 5 to 6 degrees higher than what first place is running, so their core temperature is gonna be that much lower, and everything else is gonna be about that much lower. So, and 5 degrees, you know, on a modern NVIDIA card, that's a difference of 15 megahertz on the core. So, yeah. But I guess for now, I'm just gonna rerun with that slightly higher core that we got to pass. It's probably not gonna lead to anything. We're probably just gonna skip to the part where I run this later. Unless something unforeseen happens, but yeah. I don't think this is gonna do much. Still gonna try, but I don't think it's gonna do much. Okay. Let's see if this passes. is very possible that it is still not cold enough. It is actually now... It is later. It is actually later on the next day. And yeah, I can still wait for it to get colder at night. But what I did change, which is why it's the next day now, and you might be able to already hear what I did, is I moved my test bench really, really close to my window, whereas before it was on the other side of the room. So I swapped around my test bench and my soldering, modding, whatever modifying area is, which means it's very close to the windows, which are open, and you know, that should be the best access for fresh and cold air on the outside. I do actually not have my thermometer with me, so let me get it real quick so I can check what the actual ambient temperature is now. Alright, we have an ambient temperature of 24 degrees. That's more than before. So, yeah, it is not specifically better. Yeah, like right now it's not doing anything. Because it's actually a bit warmer than before. So like all the improvement we might be getting right now, why the extra memory might be working, is just because the card, I just turned it on. And the PCB is still at room temperature and is now slowly getting warm as like leakage heat that doesn't get cooled by the water block just goes throughout the PCB and starts heating things up. I'm actually gonna have to wait for it to like actually get cold. But hey, maybe I can still get a pass here. Wouldn't be too bad. This might actually, like, if this actually passes, where it's scene 9. I've had it crash at scene 10 before, so I'm not gonna, like, declare victory already. Also, we still have to take a screenshot. If this passes, it can still crash before I take the screenshot. Which I hope it doesn't. It hasn't happened to me yet, but it is very possible to happen. The average doesn't look that great though. We need to have 76.1 FPS average to get to first place, so this looks like a low scoring run. That is not gonna be... And it crashed. It didn't even finish. Oh, it was so close. This is probably the latest I've ever crashed into the test. Yeah, that's yeah. Just I can try a little bit, maybe try a bit more memory voltage, because that seemed to help a bit. Maybe? I'm not entirely sure if it actually does, but I could try a little bit more memory voltage. And average FPS is really low. Like, okay, it's 5 points more than before, but yeah, I'll still take the screenshot. It's another high score after all, but like, this is not what I hoped to get from a bump in memory and also core. Alright, I capitulate. I will wait for lower ambient temperatures and then hope that will just do it. So it is now almost 9 PM. Ambient temperature has come down a bit. It's now Actually, 17 degrees, but that's like right next to the open window, so the actual ambient is probably higher than that. So we're just gonna try to pass this. Just first try, card is still cold, this is the first run. And let's just hope that the magic happens here. We need a 76.2 to definitively win. Okay, this is another high score, but it's just really not happening unless I get that core up. And that's gonna be hard. Maybe the extra cold is gonna do it, but I'm not sure. We're not gonna win here unless I get that core clock up, because we're running 1478 on the memory, which is the fastest, just the fastest of everyone in the ranking as far as I'm aware. The shader's not that great either. Actually, this might keep going, but there's not much point in it unless we get that core clock up, because the shader isn't really worth that many points, and it has been running into problems anyway, so like we're not gonna solve a problem with more shader. What I'm gonna need to do is just push the core hard. If everything I try doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to pull the card and give it more mods, like basically more cap mods, and potentially implement a power bridge. I've seen some people do that, so maybe that helps. Just I really need to push the memory now, and not the memory, the core, or we are not getting that score. It is not gonna happen. Yeah, I don't know, guys. It just doesn't want to work, really. Like, I can back off the memory a bit, but I have a feeling that, well, like, I have a feeling that the core on this is just not doing it right now. There's like, we're so close, like a 1908, like literally 10 points to being tied with first place and 11 points from being first place. But there's still that little step, those like 10-15 megahertz on the core that we're just not getting here. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if I can lower memory, if that enables me to run higher shader, I don't think that's gonna actually be a net positive in score. And it's not gonna get us to 76.2 FPS. So yeah. Like, yeah, that's just not working. Just Even the clock's backed off, just no. So okay. I thought it was, or more like I hoped, it would just be a question of, you know, lower your ambient temperature. Like, the cold air coming in from the window is about 16, 17 degrees, and I actually have a fan shoving that air at the test bench, but it's looks like it really wasn't that much of a temperature problem, actually. Like, the memory is doing great clocks, but the core on this card is just not quite high quality enough to really take first place in the current state of the card. It has a lot of cap mods on it already. Like, I can just shut the thing down and show you. I think it just doesn't quite have the quality that it currently needs to beat first place. Like, everyone in, like, the other two guys that are still in front of me now, they're both at like above 860 on their cores, and I'm here at 849, and it's just not giving me those 10, 11 points that I still need. And yeah, so this card is gonna need more mods. It might also just not be capable, but I'm like 10 megahertz is like, should be able to get that with mods, even if the card already looks like this. So yeah, like in terms of bulk filtering, this is actually not that much. I could put more bulk filtering on this, but like, as far as the mods go, it has 12 volt input caps, it has bulk output, then for the core it has multi-layer ceramics behind the core and 4 more bulk caps directly behind the core. The memory also has bulk caps around it, like that's a memory cap, that's a memory cap, then it has multi-layer ceramics for all the memory chips. Like, it already has a lot of mods on it. But I could do a little more. I could add more mods. I could maybe try a power bridge, though I don't know how I would really implement that, other than just like taking some really thick cables and then going from an inductor directly to a capacitor behind the board, behind the core, which I guess is what a power bridge is. I just, like, these cards don't draw that much current. It's like below 200 watts at 1.5 volts. Like, it's not drawing that much current. I don't know if a power bridge is even gonna do anything here. Like, cap mods maybe, like the voltage regulation quality on that 4-phase is probably not the best. Yeah, I don't really know. But I guess it's gonna get modded more. Or, this is the other option. This is the option that probably no one will see coming if I can succeed with it. But, let me get the other option. So, I still have this card, the blue sparkle card. Now this card I've identified to be quite decent. Like, it already has some mods, also has multi-layer ceramics for the memory already, none for the core. This actually has more bulk filtering because it's using the 1200 microfarad caps instead of the 820s. And it also has some 12 volt input filtering caps already. So like, this card is already like modded. It just needs more multi-layer, like it just needs the backside of the core modded basically. And this one has a core that's probably able to hit that 860, because I had both of these cards Sub-Zero, and the Sparko card did like a lot better, like 20-30 megahertz better. So this core is probably capable of getting me to that 860. It's just that the memory on this card is nowhere near 1470. I might be able to get it there if I just spent enough time on it. But that's the problem. Like, yeah, the memory from 1460 to 1470 isn't really that big of a score jump, but that's because it already is at a super high frequency. The memory on this, I think, does like 1350. That's more than 100 megahertz less. And that is with it already cap modded. So I don't know if this memory is gonna be capable of matching the palette. If it is, this might be first place. This might be first place right here. If not, then my best hope is to just throw more capacitors at the problem and then just hope that it will work out somehow. So those are the options. And yeah. So like, yeah. I guess it might be worth testing the Sparko for like water cooling, because I didn't really do much water cooling on it. I think I tested it for air and then straight Sub-Zero. I don't think I ever really did water cooling on this, but this might be an option. Otherwise, I might have to remain at third place for water cooling. And then for cold, well, I know this card can match the memory of first place. Again, the core was lacking. So yeah. We're gonna have to see if I can take first place for those. For now, I still remain first place for air cooling, and I hope that doesn't change, because I really don't feel like defending that score. Like, as far as I'm concerned, air cooling is done. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm now on water, and as soon as I feel I'm done with that, I will do Sub-Zero until the comp is gone. So yeah. Like, we got good scores, like a 1908. That's third place. That's no longer tied with current third place. That's like a new third place. And the other two persons are 1914 and 1918. So like 10 points, 8 and 10 points. So it's not like I need much improvement to catch them, but like the core on this is just not doing it, I think. Like, yeah. So I think that's gonna be it for this video then. I might there will be another video. I might have it as a live stream. I'm not too sure yet. Yeah, the next 3 to 4 weeks are gonna be just me preparing for upcoming exams. So I'm gonna have to spend some time for it each day, but then the rest of the day I don't really have to do anything, so I can use the remaining 1.5 weeks of the comp basically to full extent. So I'm gonna keep trying, and I really don't want to drag this video out too much, but yeah, I was kind of hoping to just like have a killing blow in this video, like I did for the air cooling video. I just like make one video, I take first place, and until today that's still first place. But like this card has always been a bit weak on the core, and I've always known that. It was good enough for air, because most people seem to just have cooling issues on air cooling, whereas I found a really, really effective way to cool on air. But water cooling, and especially Sub-Zero, people have a lot more closely matched cooling solutions, and they're the weak core of this card kind of really shows. So yeah, Not a total victory today. It's still a good score, I'd say. It's just not really what I wanted. So, with that, let me get over to my other PC and bid you farewell until next time.